ladies and germs.
You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
It's my theme music,
That's
man.
the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. Wow.
It's my theme music. That's my theme music, I think. That's a beat I made like fucking... I made that beat like... I want to say... I know it was more than 10 years ago. I made that beat a long time ago. I took an old Scarface sample. And I just chopped it up on Fruity Loops. Everything else I made from scratch. I was never really too big on using samples. I used to like to reverse engineer the beats. Like I would just follow the melodic progression and try to duplicate it or whatever. Because I did used to make beats. The beats you hear on the relay are not beats that I made. Most of the beats that I did make, I actually lost them shits when my computer crashed. But I was able to save like 2 or 3. I was really upset when that shit happened. But yeah, that was a beat I made like a million fucking years ago. Yeah, I made that, Jay. I used to make beats, bro. I was pretty good at it. That's why I got an ear for good music. You know what I mean? I'm a connoisseur of music. We got the motherfucking hard salami in this motherfucker. We gonna eat this motherfucking shit. I'm a grown ass man, and now my grandmother can't stop me from eating the fucking hard salami. When I was a kid, my grandmother would buy the hard salami. That shit would not make it through the night. But now that I'm an adult and I could blow money on whatever the fuck I want, I eat a whole fucking pack of hard salami. Who gonna stop me? It's real shit out here, yo. Now I'm gonna chew on this shit and play y'all this motherfucking beat real quick before we get into these boxing talks. Might get a MIDI pad. Thinking about getting a MIDI pad. Get me a soundboard. Start using sound effects and shit. Might do that. Bad guy. Oh, it's yummy, bro. It's a motherfucker, man. Oh, I miss making beats. But it's time consuming. It's very time consuming. Sometimes you hit a wall or you go through a drought. You can't really think of nothing. Like I always had more ideas for stories, more ideas for things that I wanted to draw. Making beats was always sometimes I would hit a wall, didn't know what I wanted to make, and I would have to just chill and get away from the shit, smoke a little bit of weed, you know what I'm saying, get some ideas, bust a couple nuts, get some ideas. I do miss making beats though. Luis Puente, que lo que coño? Next, Joe Mama, my man Drew is in the building. We gonna talk some shit tonight. I'm eating sausage and peppers and laughing at Ward being so bitter on his birthday. He has to bring up Triple G. Triple G so... Oh, shit. Don't let Tim Bradley hear you talking like that, man. That's co-host, man. You gotta chill. JJJ. I got a few, let me see if I can find the other one I had. I reverse engineered, let me see. Let me see if I can find it, man. Do I got it? I know it's here. I just gotta find that shit, man. God, where the fuck? I know where it is. Give me a second, Jay. I'm gonna play this for you, and I want you to tell me if you know what it is. Feel me? If you know what it is. Where the fuck is that shit, man? All right, bomb. Let me see if it's in here. It might not be. I'm probably the only motherfucker that still got music saved to his phone. Most motherfuckers don't even do that shit no more. Trying to see, is it in here? There it is. You recognize that? Now, I did not sample Mike Jackson shit. I did not sample his shit. All I did was I took the beginning part and I used that. But everything else, I did it on the piano. I had reverse engineered the shit because I always liked that melodic progression. But everything is original audio. None of that shit is from the actual song. I was good of your muck. You know what I mean? And yeah, man. For those that don't know, yes, I used to make beats. I used to be on my Fruity Loop shit, B. I used to be on my Fruity Loop shit, making beats on my MIDI pad, all that extra shit. I was good at it. I made a lot of beats. I made some money, too. I made some money. Will Alexis change Fury take after Usyk interview? Jamie was good. Jamie Bond is in the building, son. Dreamland was good. All right, you know what we're here to talk about. So today is Andre Ward's birthday. Happy birthday to the son of God. Before I let everybody in on the conversation, I just wanted to get my own thoughts out on it because I was never drastic with what I believed. I was never, oh, fuck Ward or oh, fuck Gennady. I was never like that. When this conversation was a hot topic, right? I had just moved and I was new to the Facebook boxing groups. I was spending a lot of more time at home, more time with my daughter and all of that, right? And, I was just looking for different ways to pass the time because I had moved out the city. And, I started using the Facebook boxing groups and boxing groups on social media. That was right around the time that all of this stuff was going on. And I remember that, this was a hot topic. A lot of people felt Gennady Golovkin was ducking Andre Ward. A lot of people felt that Andre Ward was full of shit. And I was still a huge boxing fan. I was just new to social media boxing. I was new to that. So when all that shit was going on, what I always found myself asking was, if you gonna say that Gennady Golovkin was ducking this dude, when the fuck was they supposed to fight? Because it was always my understanding, like those that was actually watching boxing back then will know Edwin Rodriguez was Ward's last fight at 168, right? That was in 2013. And he didn't fight after that for 2 years because he was going through like a promotional situation. He was going through some issues and he didn't fight for 2 years after that. When he came back, it was the summer of 2015. I believe it was in June or July. He came back in 2015, and he came back as a light heavyweight. He fought Paul Smith. Now he couldn't have fought Triple G between 2013 and 2015 because he had the promotional situation. He didn't fight nobody. He couldn't have fought him then in between 2013 and 2015. And when he came back, I'm like, all right, so I guess y'all saying that Gennady Golovkin should have fought him when he came back. But if you remember, all right, Ward didn't come back at super middleweight. He came back at light heavyweight. He came back like at 172 pounds. He fought Paul Smith, and he never fought as a super middleweight again. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. By the time Ward came back, Gennady Golovkin was already WBC interim champion, and he was Miguel Cotto's mandatory challenger. Miguel Cotto had the WBC title. He won it from Sergio. Yeah, those of y'all that was watching boxing. He won the shit from Sergio, and, then Cotto won it from him, obviously, and Gennady Golovkin was his mandatory. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. In 2015, in the summer, the wheels was already in motion for Canelo versus Cotto to go down in November. I remember all of that. They was already saying, yo, we're going to pay Golovkin a step aside. We're going to promise him the winner of the fight, the winner of Canelo versus Cotto. And this was around the time all this shit was going on, around that time. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What fucking boxer going to leave middleweight when you got Cotto right there and you his mandatory and you got Canelo right there? Like, who, like, huh? You know what I mean? This was when Gennady was really buzzing. This is like when his career took off. They're like, big drama show, Mexican drama show, all that bullshit. That's when all that shit really got popping, right? So, he wanted to fight Miguel Cotto, but the Canelo people and the Cotto people, they wanted to fight each other. So what they told him is, look, let us fight and we will give you the winner of the fight. The winner of the fight, they're going to have to fight you. And he's like, all right, cool. This was in the summer months. He's like, all right, cool. And then in the meeting between time, he said, okay, I'm going to fight David Lemieux because David Lemieux got the IBF. He had the red belt. Like, all right, y'all going to fight in November. I'm going to fight David Lemieux in October. And I believe it was in October. And by this time, it was too late to try to do a Ward fight because it's like, bro, he already signed on to fight Lemieux. That's one. Not that the Lemieux shit was the important shit. The real important shit was getting the winner of Canelo versus Cotto. So when I hear people say that, oh, he ducked him, I'm like, when he ducked him? Because he couldn't afford him between 2013 and 2015. And by the time Ward came back, it was already too late. He looking to fight the winner of Cotto versus Canelo. He ain't going to go up for Ward. Ward all the way up there light heavyweight. Now I'm going to open up. If Dan Goosen did not die, SOG would still have legal issues. The estate took a payout from Ward's handlers, Rock Nation, because he already lost 2 times in court and did not want to honor the contract. Yeah, I'm going to open it up to the panel because I'm just telling y'all what my stance is, right? I'm going to open it up to all of y'all and y'all can tell me what you think. Whether you think whether you think Gennady ducked him or you think Ward is full of shit. My stance has always been that I felt like Ward was resentful towards Gennady Golovkin. Perhaps he felt that HBO was pushing him more than they were pushing Ward. Maybe that's how he felt. But as far as a fight, I'm like, bro, when was they going to fight? Because in 2013 and 2015 of the summer, Ward had all them legal issues and shit. That's why he didn't fight. So I'm like, well, they couldn't have fought between 2013 and 2015. And in 2015, he was already Cotto mandatory challenger. So I know y'all wasn't going to fight then. By the time you came back in 2015, he was light heavyweight. Like, now I'm going to open the shit up to the panel. What's goody, Mark? I'm going to open the shit up to the panel. And gentlemen, please let each other talk. Stop cutting each other off and talking over each other. I get complaints about that shit. If somebody talking, let them talk. Boogeyman Haney says, Triple G didn't duck no one. That's just the narrative the LDBC were pushing. What's goody, Sophia? You know what I mean? And yeah, man. We gonna get into these boxing talks, man. Let me post the link for the people on Twitter. What's goody, Virtuoso? What's goody, Jay? I'm gonna start with Jay. Jay, tell me what you think about this whole fucking Well, first tell me how my beats was.
Shit. That shit went hard, bro. I mean, how much more you got saved, man? I'm eager to hear what more shit you got.
Yeah, I only was able to save I think 3 or 4 because I remember my hard drive crashed. I had mad projects in there, man. That shit really had discouraged me when my PC died with all my shit in it. That was kind of why I didn't make it. I was like, man, but I was getting money though. I ain't gonna front. But when it come to this Ward and Golovkin shit, just tell me what you think, man. What are your thoughts?
It's funny, really, that he's still kind of stuck on that after all these years, you know? I mean, and like, my thing is this, like, okay, if you're jealous of Triple G, right? Like you've been around, I mean, when did he first turn pro? In 2004?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you already around years before that. So it's like, I mean, you didn't develop the kind of following that Triple G obviously did when he hit the American scene in like what 2012 was it? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, so it's like, right? I mean, let me
put it. Hold on.
Yeah.
To put it concisely, you feel that Ward is resentful of Triple G. That's your stance.
In a way, yeah. I mean, but that's not. I find it funny because that's not necessarily his fault. It wasn't his intention for that to happen. And if like, I mean, and it's like you had the time to develop a certain following of your own because you were around for years before that, and you never did. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, because like his fights, which fights were his on pay per view? The Kovalev fights, was that it?
Just the Kovalev fights. Just the two Kovalev fights.
And those were shit. Those people didn't buy those.
Let's not get too far. All right, let me go to Virtuoso. Virtuoso, what's your stance on, just as concisely as possible, just what's your stance on Ward, Golovkin? Did he duck? Did he not duck? Just what is it?
You know, I would think that Golovkin would be a fool to go up and risk his O facing Ward. I think it would present a tough challenge, but Ward is looking back at it with bitterness because, like, if you remember after the Super 6 tournament, right? I remember there was, he had buzz, but then after that, he kind of, like, his momentum kind of faded. And so he needed this fight, to make his, his resume a little bit more flashier, at least. But I think he should just get over this thing, especially on his birthday.
All right, I'm going to go to Isan. Isan, your stance on the shit as concisely as possible.
Can you hear me fine? I got my AirPods in. So, yeah, like, I agree with all y'all, basically. He's just been bitter for years because Triple G, in like 2 years of being here, had more buzz in his home country than he ever did. And it's like, if the fight didn't happen, whatever, but there's reasons it didn't happen. And my problem with Dre is that he's being disingenuous with, like, how things went. Like,
see,
the way
I'm
he's
with
saying
Isan.
things,
I'm with
like,
Isan because that's how
what
I
don't
feel.
Like, if you want to say, oh, Golovkin's team had different plans or whatever, I respect it. It didn't happen, whatever. You could have just said that. But for years, he's been saying that they turned it down in 5 minutes. Oh, they didn't want the fight. They're ducking me. And I'm just like, bro, you were out here saying that you can't even make 68 anymore. And then all these years, and everybody says, oh, Golovkin had years to fight him. I'm like, I don't know. I just think Ward's being disingenuous, and he's just jealous. And he's doing it right now with Canelo too. He was.
I mean, Drew, I know you feel a lot of things right now. So let's just try to compartmentalize. Drew. What do you think about the whole shit?
The thing is, even Jules, based on the timeline of things, if we just go based on the facts of the timeline, Ward never wanted to fight. His first fight back was in June of 2015. Triple G had already had 2 fights by then. Martin Murray in February, and I forget who else after that. I have it on good authority from scribes of the Asian descent.
My man.
HBO approached Ward like, okay, let's do this. We want to do this fight right away. Ward didn't want it. He wanted 2 tune-ups, and he had that with Paul Smith and Sullivan Barrera. And the time from Paul Smith to Sullivan Barrera was dead 10 fucking months.
It was. There was a lot of space in between those fights.
It was disingenuous from the jump. He couldn't make 68. He was bitter that Triple G's buzz was all started in California. He tried to play the xenophobic, nationalistic route and thought it was going to work, and it didn't. It backfired. And he's been bitter ever since.
Okay, so so we got 4 guys. Ward is bitter. I'm going to go to Amok. Hold on, wait. One at a time. I got to go to Amok. You got to let him talk. Amok, what's your stance on just this shit? What if, because this is an old argument that we're having, this or an old talking point, I should say. None of us are really arguing. Amok, what did you think about Ward, Golovkin? Did he duck him? Did he not duck him? Just what is it?
I don't know. I just think it was just straight out stupid. I mean, you can't duck someone in your weight class. That's one. 2, if we're gonna, make the excuse for Triple G to move up, well, people forget on the fact that when Floyd Jr. had the 154 strap, Ward wanted to meet him halfway at 160.
Yeah, he did. I
So
remember
it's
that.
just it's stupid. It's just pointless.
Oh,
But
all
yeah,
right, all right.
May I
all right.
interject real quick? The
I
only
g-
reason Ward called out Floyd was because Floyd was clowning Ward about his numbers and his sales, and Ward got in his feelings.
I remember that. That was an interview that they did with Floyd. That I forgot specifically what he said, but I remember that interview that he said some old slick shit. He said some slick shit. I remember that.
You
Yeah.
know Floyd.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But Julius, I wanted to say about what Drew said about the HBO approach and everything. Gennady actually mentioned that before in an interview. He said himself, it's quoted. I could send you if anything. He's quoted and he said, he was saying, listen, you've been using my name because you're not a big draw, or whatever. And what he said, this literally said, when HBO had the meeting with us about our fight back then, you said no. I don't care about what the reason was. It was due to your injuries or whatever. You wanting to wait, but the answer was no. So I moved on, and you should too. Like Gennady mentioned that HBO meeting, and I've been telling people for a while, like, y'all do know that HBO was pushing that fight, right? But Ward had this and that going on, so it's like, okay, it didn't happen, but you don't got to be disingenuous about it.
Let me read the super chats. I got two. Ward forgot his Ninth Amendment. Don't lie, Dre. James Jackson says Ward is a bitter hater and not honest about what happened with Triple G. But if they had ever fought, James took the words like, look, right conditions, right? Where, okay, you got a good functioning Ward that can make now what or when I should say, when could this have happened? I don't know. I don't know. But let's just say, okay, Ward is good to go
2015.
All right, let's say the Ward that fought Edwin Rodriguez. No, not 2015. It would have had. I would say the last time he fought at 68 was 2013.
2013.
Hey, he was saying he can make 68. Then I'm like, all right, whatever. That's why I use that example.
But then, what the fuck was he doing at 172? This is what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, he just.
And let's go like this. At that time, Ward came back in 2015. He'd have been weight drained at 68 like Chad Dawson, and Triple G would have beat him.
Drew, this is what I'm saying. Then I'm like, okay, let's just hypothesize. Let's say Triple G and Ward fight after 2015. Fuck the Lemieux fight and fuck all that shit that happened, right? Let's just say they would have fought. Bro, that man would have been drained making 168. He couldn't make it no more. And that's why I don't like this conversation, because a lot of people can't have it and not get in their feelings. They're like, yo, look, man, whatever you got against Gennady Golovkin, that's between you and God, bro. I'm just watching some boxing shit at the end of the day. And I remember that whole shit. And the whole time I was asking, bro, when the fuck was they supposed to fight? While he had his legal issues or while he was the mandatory for Cotto? When was they going to fight?
And I have to add, a lot of this started when Andre was throwing subliminals at Steve on Twitter, because Steve and all the promoters he said they were force-feeding European fighters down our throats and hype jobs to get up site traffic when, bro, you're not fighting.
Why
are
they supposed to talk about? Like Ward?
Let me go to JBN. First, let me read the super chat, then I'm gonna go to JBN. George the Last Patriot says, joke fantasy. James Tony, come on,
man.
Come on, bro. And I look, and this is not look. I gotta preface everything I'm about to say, right? I am not a Ward hater. I was a fan of Ward when he was an active fighter. So let me just say that, right? Now I know that some of you are gonna feel different. I'm cool with that. I can live with that. All I'm saying is that I'm kind of with Eson. When I look at it, I'm like, yo, he not being real. You knew you couldn't make 168, bro. That's why you came back at 172, bro. Like, when was y'all gonna fight? When? That's always been my thing. Now, JBN, what's your thoughts on just that whole shit?
I don't really have too much thought about it. Pretty much all of you, I just already said it. I agree with what you said. He's just being better, and he's lying about the situation, and he's hating that he never got that much attention, and he's lying about the weight. that, I'm pretty sure he wasn't gonna make that weight. So it
He
was a
wasn't.
fight that just wasn't gonna happen. So why does he keep mentioning it? Is because he's just better about it.
Now I'm now. I was not now. This is my thing, right? And no, and eso año. Everybody mute your mics. In those years, I was new to social media boxing groups. I was new to those groups. I had just started using them, and I remember that, like, yo, I used to see a lot of guys say that they felt that, oh, they pushing Triple G more than they pushing Ward. And I'm like, I took issue with that because I'm like, bro, the reason Ward ain't been fighting is because he got legal issues. It ain't even about somebody pushing him or not pushing him. He had some issues that kept him out of the ring. And I always felt like this situation, right, when it gets brought up, motherfuckers really don't like to tell the truth. Like, first and foremost, let me say this. Any motherfucking division where you got both a Puerto Rican superstar and a Mexican superstar, bro, ain't nobody gonna lead that division. Why the fuck would they do that? That's where the money is. So I'm like, that's why I feel like, yo, motherfuckers not being honest and they not being real about this shit. They're like, listen, Gennady Golovkin is staying in middleweight. Say what you want to say about his resume. I never said he had a strong resume. I never thought he had a strong resume. But I'm not talking about his resume. I'm talking about the decision that he made. The decision that he made resulted in him making way more money than Andre Ward made in his career. So how you gonna sit here and tell me that he did something wrong? You know what I mean? Now, I'm gonna go to Drew because I know Drew got a lot of thoughts on this motherfucking shit. Jacob Sims says Ugas just threw shade at Triple G on Twitter. And let me see Ugas go to 54 because I seen the shit he said. You talking that legacy shit, right? Go to 54 then, Captain Legacy Man. Go to 54. Fight the winner, Charlo versus Castaño, bro. You all about the legacies out here, right?
My issues with it, Jules, and the panel is I'm from the Bay Area. Grew up like 15 minutes away from Oakland, where Ward's from. He always, and I supported him early on until he started moving like this. And like I always bring up, he refused to travel anywhere. He had an opportunity to cross over with the Butte fight, become undisputed at 68. He scoffed because he thought it was beneath him. And like I said, the only reason he got free from his contract after losing twice in court was because Dan Goossen passed away and the estate took a payoff. He would have never came back if Dan Goossen was still alive around that time. He probably wouldn't have fought till about 2017.
Yeah.
2016, 28, depending on how long Dan Goossen wanted to put him on the shelf.
Real shit, because most people don't remember that that's really what resulted in him coming back when Dan Goossen died. That's literally when all of that shit got sold out.
And then after all that, he signs with Rock Nation, shows that picture with Jay-Z. I think he just got bitter that didn't help him become a star. And his biggest payday was the second Kovalev fight for $5 million. And Triple G's got Apple endorsements, Jordan brand. It all started too when Jordan endorsed Triple G like him. And then he sees Samsung, all these things. And he's like, dude, the xenophobic came out in him. You could tell.
Well, I'm going to say this. I do agree. Apple too. No, peep the shit. In one country, he had an Apple deal. In another country, he had an Android deal. I shit you not. I think
in Korea because he's his mom's Korean, so Samsung.
It was one. I seen this shit. I'm like, yo, this dude is getting crazy money. He got an Apple deal and an Android deal. This dude and Jordan money. He getting crazy money.
And they loved him in Europe because he was always fighting in Monte Carlo too.
Let me read the super chat. Steve Munoz asks, de lo mío, que lo que? How do you think El Camarón Cepada does against the top at 135? El Camarón looking like a buzzsaw. Salute to the panel. De verdad, yo pienso que El Camarón le gana a Ryan Garcia. Yo pienso que le puede ganar a Richard Comey, posiblemente. Porque Richard Comey pelea bien, pero no aguanta puño bien. Bueno, no, I can't even say that. I can't. He takes a good punch now that I think about it. He takes a decent, because he survived with Loma shit. He's getting his ass beat. Pero yo me imagino que okay, I would pick El Camarón to beat Isaac Cruz. I would pick him to beat Isaac Cruz. I'll just be real with you, yo. Okay, we got Severino. José, ¿qué es lo que mira? Déjame hacer esta pregunta. Andre Ward, Gennady Golovkin, esa discusión vieja. What are your thoughts on that? Just all of that old 2015 shit.
Hey, how you doing, man? ¿Qué es lo mío?
Hey, ¿tú no viste que Andre Ward estaba discutiendo con Gennady Golovkin en Twitter de la pelea que no pasó, that, you know, they didn't fight, and you know, I've always, let me just preface everything. I always maintained that I think Ward stood a good chance of beating Gennady Golovkin, but at the same time, I don't think Ward was being real. They're like, bro, between 2013 and 2015, you had legal issues that kept you out of the ring, so you couldn't afford them then. And by the time you came back, you fought Edwin. Oh no, Edwin Rodriguez was the last fight. By the time you came back, you was a light heavyweight. So when exactly were you supposed to fight Triple G? Because I don't see it, bro. By the time you came back, he was Cotto's mandatory. And I know you don't expect him to move up and wait for you when he got Cotto, bro. Cotto was worth a lot of money, bro. You wasn't. Keep it real.
And Jules, like you've been reiterating, the job they did with Triple G is why the fucking Murata fight now, even at 40, is worth damn near 9 figures.
Bro, I mean, like a lot of people like to act. This is the funny shit, right? I never thought Triple G had a dope resume. I thought he had a good resume for a middleweight today, but I never thought he had a dope resume. When they compared him to Hagler and Hopkins, I used to laugh at that shit. I never had him pound for like, I ain't no fanboy, bro. I never had him pound for pound number one. Never. You can look at every list I ever made because they're all on Instagram. He was never number one, right?
What's the highest you ever had him?
I think the highest I had him was 2, and then he just kept dropping after that.
I mean, I think that fight, I always want to see the fight, but as long as I saw like catchways and like, you know, all the like cloud chasing they did between each other, because they actually have very comparable resumes. Like if you actually, you know, open your eyes to it, because
No, bueno, tú sabes, él tiene el Carl Froch, que le ganó a Froch, y esa, you know, that was a big win. That was a big win.
Sí, está bien, pero como quiera que sea, también te voy a decir una cosa, like, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors in Andrew Ward's career. Don't get it twisted. He's a phenomenal boxer. He was a phenomenal boxer. Great ambassador. Y me gusta como él habla, because he's like well educated and, you know, he passes words really well. But también hubieron mucha vaina, man, like behind the scenes, like didn't add up to a lot of like Andrew Ward's career, especially with the Triple G thing. Like, come on, man. Like, I mean, Triple G wanted the fight, but he wanted allegedly to drain Andrew Ward, which is
Bueno,
160.
this is my understanding, right? They were supposed to meet in the middle if they were gonna do the fight. The problem is the middle for Ward, and this is why I keep coming back to this. I'm like, he couldn't have fought Triple G between 2013 and 2015 because he had the legal issues. So it couldn't have happened there. It just couldn't have happened. So we got to look at 2015. All right, well, in 2015, when you came back and you fought Paul Smith, you was a light heavyweight, bro. You never fought as a super middleweight after that. That's why I keep saying, like, when was they gonna fight though? Like, when was it possible for them to fight? Because what I see en ese tiempo que él tenía todos esos problemas, Gennady Golovkin was getting popular, and he became Cotto's mandatory. And I'm like, bro, wouldn't nobody in their right mind leave 160 and Miguel Cotto for Andre Ward, bro? Fuck out of here. Nobody would have did that. The Cotto fight gonna get you a lot of money. The Ward fight ain't gonna get you nothing. The Kovalev fight showed us that. Kovalev got a check of 0.00 for the second fight. This shit looked like a child support check, B. Like they took all your bread.
No, but
yeah, there was too much weight discrepancy between them. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to add this one more point. I believe also, like, if you actually think about it, like Triple G's career, as flawed as, you know, as elevated titles as he's been in his career, I believe that Andre Ward's career was supposed to be like he's like, you know, the guy with the HBO deal and the Zone deal. Well, not the Zone, because he retired like years ago, but you know what I mean? Like he was like the hometown kid, and he
was supposed to be the golden boy. He was supposed to be the golden boy. So for and they they tried, bro. They tried. Because I remember a lot of the arguments I used to have with guys in the groups back then that I'm like, look, B, I'm not going to ask nobody to put on if they not comfortable putting
It's
on.
just that division that he was fighting, like 168. It's always been one of those like not like
Esa
lightest.
división es de europeo. Esa división es de europeo.
De peo, so.
No. I always said, like, look, and I don't even.
You're right. I'm just joking.
But I'm not, no, because I'm not going to knock him, but I'm going to keep it real that I remember those years. And I remember that the American boxing fans, they always looked at the super middleweight division as the Europe division. That's the Euro division. Look at who was there. Carl Froch, George Groves, James DeGale. They looked at it as the Euro division in those days.
And I think Andrew Wood was the only American base fighter out of that Super 6.
Well, I think Jermaine Taylor wasn't in that shit. I think he was in the Super 6, if I remember.
Wow, it's just like that.
No, Jermaine wasn't in there.
No, he wasn't in there. You sure?
No, I don't think so.
All right, I'm old.
I think he
I'm
was.
old.
But if he did, he'd never fight with Andrew Wood.
No, he didn't fight. Yeah, he didn't fight Ward. He didn't fight Ward.
I think Jermaine Taylor wasn't it.
He was in that shit, right?
No. Arthur Abraham knocked him out. He was.
Yeah, he was in that. He was in that shit. He was like one of the first seeds in the tournament.
Yeah.
I remember
Abraham
he was
knocked him
old.
out. Yeah.
He was old though. Like it's
Nah,
not like a prime Taylor, but he was. Yeah, he was in that shit.
Mira una cosa, just to end that up, Thomas, I hear, like on that Super 6 was like the biggest thing outside of that Kovalev fight for Andrew Ward, right?
Yeah.
All right. So it's gonna be like the same treatment as Terrence Crawford. If he put you a gun into your head and ask you the name that he beat on that tournament outside of the Carl Froch, like would you like name me all of them? Not you, but like a casual fan.
No, tú sabes que no. La gente aquí. La gente aquí.
No, te matan.
Un balazo de que mira, ¿a quién él le ganó? Bla.
Carl Froch,
Todos los espaguetes se te van a salir de la cabeza. Todos los espaguetes de mi
Kovalev.
All right, now this is. I'm glad that we're talking about this because we know the kind of criticism that Canelo Alvarez faces these days. That why is he only fighting Euro guys? And this brings me back to a familiar talking point that I heard not that long ago. I forgot who made it, but I'm like, how is it all of a sudden wrong to fight European fighters when Ward's biggest wins are European fighters? Carl Froch, right? Ain't it? Carl Froch. Arthur Abraham.
Nunca ha tenido sentido, bro.
That shit don't make, like, all of a sudden, if you fight a Brit, it don't mean shit. Then why y'all sitting here telling me about Ward fighting Froch?
No, it's not about them being Euro. It's about the competition. It's about they're not that good of competition.
This is that fucking same weird. Yo, get the fuck out of here, man. That's that same dude. That's that same dude.
He's changing his name, yo.
Real shit. That's that same dude from before. Like man, yo, man,
MMA?
you a weird. Yeah, that's that dude.
Do you give Ward? Do you give Ward a knock in his career for not going for undisputed at both weight classes he campaigned?
Oh, hell yeah.
I could have forgave the first one because look, being real, this is just my mentality. I forgive the first at 168. I forgive that one a little, but I don't forgive 175. You only had one belt to go, Adonis Stevenson.
And you beat the boogeyman though.
Lineal.
I think on that division, like,
and the problem was both times, the guy with the last belt was the bigger draw, so it was a bigger fight in his home than at Ward's home, and Ward refused to travel.
But look. If you want me to like speculate, then I'm with you. Then I'm like, I think if I have to try and understand why you was one belt away from undisputed, and you chose not to do that, if I try to understand. That's the only answer I could come up with. And I'm like, bruh, Adonis was more of a draw, and it's the truth. Adonis was more of a draw in Canada than Ward was in America. The pay-per-views, the Kovalev versus Ward pay-per-views, I was surprised when them shits didn't do big numbers. I was like, damn, I thought this shit at least was going to do 300,000. I remember it didn't do 200,000. I remember.
No, and then on the rematch,
like
Kathy Duva actually got Kovalev to take 0 on the purse.
Real shit. All his bread was supposed to be from the upside, and it wasn't no motherfucking upside. Why you think he turned to alcoholism after that, bro?
estuvo en Tigre.
Gonna go there.
Oh,
I couldn't do it.
Él quería burlarse del sistema, él quería ser un tigre.
No, pero imagínate tú que este tipo me coge los cinturones y me da en el huevo con todos esos puños y no me van a pagar.
He turned to the vodka and beat the bitch up.
Yo, but real
Se fue
shit.
para
I'm like,
Rusia, loco, con los granos hinchados. He's both swollen, yo. Like,
yo, that
I'm
dude
broke,
got
yeah.
on that.
Hey,
He got on that plane. He couldn't sit down. He ain't got no money. You know what I mean? Ward took his belts.
he got beat for real, yo. Like,
and look, I never felt sorry for Kovalev because I always thought Kovalev was a racist, so I never felt sorry for him. But
yeah, I didn't like that shit. And calling Adonis a monkey, that was fucked
well,
up.
it's look, no, it ain't that. It's more like my thing was this, right? If you wanted to make if you wanted to crack jokes on Adonis, don't act like you don't know what you're saying, and don't act like you don't know how it's gonna be received. You know how it's gonna be received, but you did that shit. So like, yeah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see pictures of you with nobody. It's not gonna convince me or nothing. Like, bro, you said what you said, bro. You said what you was thinking, bro. Or rather, you know what I mean? He had his son wearing a t-shirt, and I'm like, bro, you got to know that shit don't look right, bro. You have to know that. But he did that, and ever since I'm like, bro, I don't really fuck with you. Like, yeah, you can box. I ain't gonna lie. You can box, but you ain't shit. And that's how I felt.
That's why part of me is satisfied that Ward won those fights.
Oh, I mean, look, if we gonna be real, I was not up in he hit, bro. Those was belt line shots because the other thing about Kovalev is Kovalev did the okie doke shit. He'll wear his trunks really high, right under his fucking nipple, so that everything is under it. Well, yeah, motherfucker, you wearing your shits all the way up here. Of course, it's
overall, yo. Like,
go back.
Fighters do that shit. The ref needs to take a look. All right, man, lower your shorts, bro.
You
know what I mean?
And remember what the rumor was at the time. I remember all of that. The rumor at the time was there was a sparring session with Gennady Golovkin and Sergey Kovalev years before he fought Ward, something like that, right? And the rumor was that Gennady stopped Kovalev in that session with body shots. That he hit him to the body. Kovalev didn't like it there, right? And that's what the rumor was before Ward beat him in the second fight and before the first fight. So I'm like, oh, I see why you wearing your trunks like that, because you don't like it to the body. That's why I see you wear, because your shits is mad high. Like, bro, why is your shits up here? Fuck.
You heard about Kovalev? What he's trying to do at cruiserweight?
Who he gonna be at cruiserweight?
Talk about he's aiming for cruiserweight title shot after 3 or 4
Hey
fights.
man, Golden Boy owes him a
$7-figure
fight, baby.
He ain't gonna get there.
Listen, bro. Imagine Kovalev versus Lawrence Okoli, bro.
Go.
I mean, hey, but if fellas, if Golden Boy owes you a 7-figure fight, you gonna take it, right?
No, listen, no. Look, he can do it. I'm not telling him not to do it. Do it. Get your money, right? But I'm just saying that. Listen, man. Look. I would not pick him to beat Arsen Goulamarian. I would not pick him to beat Igorov. I would definitely not pick him to beat Maris Breedis. I would not pick him to beat J.O. Pataya. I would not pick him to beat Lawrence Okoli. Only dude I think he would kind of have a chance is Glavatsky, because Glavatsky don't take a good punch.
You didn't say Makabu.
What about Makabu?
I think Makabu will knock his ass out. Like, just land on him, bro. Land to the body.
Makabu's too strong, man.
Makabu
you can see the punches just bounce out of like Makabu. Like, Makabu's strong
bro,
as hell, man.
I
he don't have any craft, but he's strong as hell.
Él es fuerte. And I'm like, bro, all I'm saying is the first cruiserweight that really land on Kovalev, even if it ain't if they land on him, like, bro, Kudrajov. Y'all know Kudrajov don't take a good punch, right?
Oh no, absolutely not.
But if he land, if he would have landed on Kovalev, bro, that motherfucker turn into Skittles, be like instant Skittles.
You see how Thanos snapped his fingers? Like,
real shit, like.
Kovalev will burst into Skittles and they're gonna spell on the ground, taste the rainbow.
Fellas, you know the thing I find funny about this whole war shit is, bro, why on your birthday are you going on social media for a Q&A when it's your birthday, bro? Go enjoy yourself. You got money in the bank.
I mean, no.
What's going on, bro?
Nah, I ain't gonna say like, look. This is I'm not gonna do that. One, because Tim Bradley might be listening, and two, because Andre Ward might be listening. 3, I like Ward for what it's worth, right? I like Ward. But there were aspects of his career, which you brought up, that I did not like. Like, I could have forgave you not pursuing Undisputed at 168 if you would have pursued it at 175. You did not do that, right? That's 1. 2, I never felt that he was being honest about the Golovkin shit, because anybody like these kids you see on Twitter arguing about this shit, they wasn't watching boxing back then, bro, because they would be asking the same fucking question I'm asking. When the fuck was there a window for them to fight? 2013, 2015, he had legal issues. When he came back in 2015, he came back as a light heavyweight, and Gennady Golovkin was already en route to the winner of Canelo versus Cotto. And I know you don't expect him to leave that money, because nobody would have left that money. Being real, nobody. To fight Andre Ward at what weight? Like, nah, bro. Y'all cats is like, y'all ain't got no, like, to me, it's a common sense argument. You got a Puerto Rican cash cow in your division. You got a Mexican cash cow in your division. And I'm going to go up there to fight this dude? That don't make...
It don't. And I got to add, too, at that time, Triple G would have been the A side.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm critical of Ward. I like Ward the fighter. Ward the guy outside the ring, from his moves with Dan Goosen to his Triple G stuff, and to that slick shit he said about Canelo handpicking back in a couple months ago on ESPN, and Bernardo Osuna checked him. Like, hold on, Dre, you don't really say that? Remember that, Jules? It went viral?
No, I remember. That was only a couple of months ago. I remember.
And so how he moves outside the ring, it's not the conduct of a gentleman or someone of a moral compass at times.
Let me say this, right? Because I had lost my train of thought when that weird kid had jumped on. That, all right, Carl Froch, his biggest win was George Groves. That was like his biggest win, the 2 wins he has over Groves, all right? Groves beat Eubank. Smith beat Groves. You see what I'm getting at? That when it's Ward fighting European fighters, oh, that's supposed to be some really cool, dope shit. Canelo fights European fighters. Oh, European fighters. So, like, what? Bro. Like, that shit don't make no sense. Okay, Carl Froch's biggest win in his whole career is George Groves, right? Okay, Callum Smith's biggest win out of the World Boxing Super Series was George Groves, who he knocked out. Same as Froch. But all of a sudden, when Canelo fight that Smith, who was rated number 1 in the division at the time, literally, he was number 1. Why you think he had the Ring Magazine title? How the fuck you think he got it? He was number 1 at the time. Canelo fight a Euro guy. Oh, Euro guys suck. But Ward fight a Euro. Oh, no, that's a Andre Ward. Oh, like what?
But Jules, you know what the problem is? It comes from just the simple fact that Canelo gets no credit depending on what he does. I mean, let's just say let's say 160, right? He cleans that division out. He fights Jamel, beats him. Fights Demetrius, beats him. Gets the other belts. He's still not getting no credit from his detractors. Still none.
Nah.
They'll find something to criticize him for.
Canelo could start better beef tomorrow and
no credit.
Benavidez.
None. Yeah,
no,
exactly.
because look. Here's the main thing, right? You got people. Yo, somebody mic is wilding. You got people on Twitter, right? They were begging him to fight Jermall Charlo. Then when the news broke that he might fight Jermall, all of a sudden they don't want him to fight Jermall. I'm like, see, you miserable motherfuckers don't represent the paying public. That I know. I know that because the majority of people who pay for boxing are paying for who? They're paying for Canelo. How do I know? The gate receipts, the pay-per-view numbers. It's not complicated. It's not a hard equation. So eso la vaina. Que I'm like, yo, ¿cómo va a ser that he fought all those champions? And what kills me is David Benavidez tenía la oportunidad to fight Caleb Plant ante que Canelo. Y'all was on the same side of the street. Y'all had belts. Your promoter didn't want to do it. Not right away. He's on camera saying that. So I don't want to hear all that bullshit about, oh, yeah, Caleb ain't no good. Some of y'all motherfuckers was picking Caleb to beat Canelo. I didn't forget.
Benavidez fights 2 against 1 every time because he's the fighter against the ring and he's fucking the manager, man. Like, that guy's fucking helped his life, man. That kid, bro, has a lot of fucking potential. Just like Jose before he got shot. But he has a lot of fucking potential. As simple his style it is, it's a killer style. Like I've never been like impressed about Benavidez, to be honest, but you can see it. Like he can be more crafted, but the thing is, I think that weight drain actually stopped him to do a lot of things too.
Yo voy a decir que él es bueno para su división, como Spence. Yo lo veo a él como Spence, que tú eres grandecito para tu división, the one you're in right now. But I would not pick him to beat Artur Beterbiev. I wouldn't. I would not pick him to beat Dmitry Bivol. I wouldn't. There's a lot of light heavyweights I see that they can beat him. I think he could maybe, I don't know, maybe Zerto, and I don't even know. I don't even know if he would beat Zerto, because what David has is that he's big, but you're only a big guy at super middle. At light heavy, nah, you regular.
He only releases
Jules, that
his
super
punches on
chat is
express, though.
hilarious.
Hold on. Let me read the super chat. Still at work, so I can't try and make the panel again. But I think it's funny that folks siding with Triple G on the Ward thing when he was chasing Floyd. Well, they were both chasing Floyd, Hova.
Exactly.
Let me. I don't know if you remember. But Andre Ward said he'll come down to middleweight for Floyd. The thing about that is, I don't know why people are so angry that Triple G was looking at Floyd when Ward was looking at Floyd, bro. Everybody was looking at Floyd, bro. Marquez came up 2 weight classes for Floyd, bro. Everybody was trying to get Floyd.
They was doing to Floyd what they doing to Canelo.
Thanks.
But something funny though, that to me, the Canelo paradigm is the actual paradigm that all these young fighters have to take. But hear me out why. Canelo actually was better, became better fighter and everything, more remarkable after that Floyd fight. But hear me out. I'm not gonna say like, oh, you see, he became a superstar after that Floyd fight, blah blah. Floyd blessed him. Nah, he actually became better despite his loss, despite his 2 draws. He's still the most marketable fight. So that is overrated, in my opinion. Like Devin Haney was trying to protect his O and all that. Like I get it. You want to be Floyd, but that's not all things, man. Look at Canelo. Canelo doesn't have an O. He's been draw before, and he's making millions on top of millions.
Bueno, esta otra cosa también. Hay una ilusión, and a lot of people are not gonna like this. They're probably gonna make videos about me calling me a Canelo Alvarez fanboy. But here's a deep, dark secret that a lot of boxing fans don't seem to know. Floyd Mayweather did not make Canelo Alvarez a star. Floyd fought Canelo because Canelo was a star. That's the only reason he fought.
Gracias.
Like
when I said that at the gym, people start like pointing at me like, "Yo, remember Floyd had a fans because everybody wants to see him lose. Like he had haters. Don't get it twisted. I actually like Mayweather. Watch his fights, but that was his thing. A villain.
Well, look, I'm like you. I like Floyd the boxer. I'm not, all the other shit I don't care about, but I like Floyd the boxer. But there's this illusion or like a myth that somehow Canelo ascended after the Floyd fight. No. The only reason Floyd fought him was because he had units. He was moving units. He was popular. That's why Floyd fought him, right?
The only thing I think Canelo copied from Mayweather is that, getting international base. For example, Mayweather used to fight the best in international fighters, let's say Mexicans, and they have a belt and they have a fan base. Because remember, everyone's for Mexican tournaments used to fight Mayweather. And Canelo is doing the same thing now. You see how everybody is like wants to take the shot at Canelo, even jumping 2 divisions, 1 divisions. They don't care getting their toes blowing off. They don't care. He
copied Floyd's blueprint.
Well, I'm not even gonna say that. Wait. Let me do this. For starters, right? It's not Floyd's blueprint. Let me say that. Like a lot of people, they can't remember boxing before Floyd, but that literally was not Floyd's blueprint.
You're right, Julius. That was just an expression.
No, not you. No, but not you specifically, but in general, that I feel that I look at the conversations that happen on Twitter, right? Conversations that happen here on YouTube, and it's like people don't remember boxing before Floyd, or they don't even remember boxing when Floyd was around. That Canelo Alvarez sold 300,000 pay-per-view buys. I believe it was with Alfredo Angulo. He sold 325,000 after the Floyd fight with Ruslan De Lara. Every single one of those 325,000 whatever buys were Canelo fans, not Lara fans, because Lara didn't have fans. Lara wasn't a casual guy. Casuals didn't know Lara.
Todavía no tiene.
Jules, Canelo already had TV deals when he fought Floyd.
So this idea, Millis, let me read the super chat. I said on Twitter, to be fair, Ward only asked for that action once he got to 175. Where was this action when he was at 168 regularly? Plus, that potential unification fight with Canelo was always near. Ward could have waited. And that's the stance that I have, that I'm like, look, man, I'm not going to shit on him and I'm not going to shit or pretend or whatever. I remember all of it. And the whole time motherfuckers was arguing about that shit, I was like, yo, when the fuck was they going to fight, though? When? Because from 2013 to 2015, Ward had legal issues. And when he came back, he was a light heavyweight. By the time he came back, they was already paying Golovkin to step aside for Cotto versus Canelo. Literally already when he came back in the summer. So I was like, when was they going to fight?
Someone said about the Floyd blueprint, and here's what it is, guys. It's the old model of actually being a world champion. Don King had Tyson fighting all over the world. Arum had Ali all over the world. To a smaller degree, Tom Loeffler had Triple G here, Europe, Asia. That's the method of building an international boxing star. It's always been that way.
Yeah, he went, look, as a defending champion, he went to Sheffield. I'm not Sheffield, but he went to the UK for Kell Brock, bro.
He went to Brooks' backyard for that, yeah.
And where was Jules? That's why I fuck with Jules. Where was Tyson versus fucking Douglas? In Tokyo?
Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo, Japan. And Tyson was fucking with the concubines the night before, sniffing coke and getting in some Asian pussy.
Hey, don't bring that bad memories for me. Don't bring that up because if Cuss never died, he doesn't lose that fight.
Yeah. Y'all to hear Tyson was on Jimmy Kimmel saying, I don't know if I believe him, but he actually said that he was actually confined to the hotels, and none of that was I don't know.
Listen, man. Ain't no muff. Listen, man. Look, I was on Instagram, right? They got these reels, man. It's this Japanese joint on. It's a bad motherfucker. You not gonna tell me that Mike Tyson was over there and he ain't trying to get in some pussy? You crazy, B.
He was doing sake bombs off that shit.
Listen, B. Buster Douglas would have killed me. Cause I'd have been all in some pussy today, but like, bro,
Mike,
me, bro.
Mike was up there screaming "Bonsai!"
Bonsai!
Hold on, the accuser. I was going to say the accuser would have been showing him around over in the Japan, mate. If he's over there, they would have been taking him out.
Yeah, like, bro, imagine, like, yo, you go to Japan, you're Mike Tyson, you never lost a fight, you're like a fucking god. It's pussy and you not going, bro. I'm telling you right now, if it was me, Buster Douglas would have killed me. Like, I'm not leaving the ring alive from how much pussy I got the night before. Like, bro, just fuck it, bro.
Even when Tyson left the ring, he wasn't even mad. He was like, okay.
Bro, because he's going to go get some pussy in the hotel room, probably. Like, what I'm going to be mad for is pussy in the hotel room.
One of my uncles always say, like, you never get mad after you busting some nuts, bro.
Bro, he busting nuts, forget all about it. Like, who's Buster Douglas? I don't even know who that is, B. Like,
boxing. It
sound like a supermarket. Buster Douglas, Buster what? Buster Rhymes, like, fuck out of here, B. Nobody worried about that shit. All I'm saying, right, is there's a lot of postmodern misconceptions about what was happening the last 5 to 10 years of boxing. One is that Floyd catapulted Canelo's career. No, he didn't. Canelo was literally already a star, and that was why Floyd picked him. That is why they fought. Because you have fans and I have fans, and let's get together and do a huge fight. Canelo had a following. Obviously, it wasn't as big as it is now, but yeah, he had a following. And I'll tell you something, that Canelo's following was bigger than today's Gervonta Davis following.
And the reason that fight the reason that fight happened the reason that fight happened so early in the Showtime deal when it was supposed to happen last is because that Guerrero fight tanked.
Yeah.
Because of Floyd's guarantee, and Les Moonves and them at CBS rushed it, and that whole shit with Oscar. If Oscar was really competent at that time, He would have
Yeah.
said no and waited till fucking that 6th fight, and it would have been Floyd versus Canelo when it was Berto.
Well, look, Les Moonves is the reason we got Maypac. The
Yep.
guarantees that Floyd was getting at that time, most people don't remember this. Just like they don't remember that. Imagine a guy trying to get $10 million from a Mayweather fight. That ain't gonna happen, bro. You only gonna get like 2 mil, 3 mil to max, bro, right? But Canelo out here blessing me like 10 million. All right, you got it. Billy Joe 6, you got it. And you want a 24-foot ring, you fucking got it.
Mira otra cosa. Like, this is another smoke mirror about Mayweather. Like, yo, he still owe money to like certain fighters. He still owe money to Chino,
Yeah.
to Maidana, como $1 million le debe.
No,
And-
ya le debe
and you
dinero,
saying that,
le
brother?
debe dinero at Logan Paul. Le debe dinero.
No, pero
And you
Logan
guys
Paul
saying
millón,
that, you guys saying that lends credence to what Jules has been saying. Like, Floyd don't got all that money.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. And there's an old interview. There's a very old interview from when he was still active where he said it himself that I rather not get the money in a lump sum. I would prefer stipend increments. Not, that tells me that all this time from years ago, Al has his money. He still has it. He still has it.
Mira una cosa, loco. This is something that people get mistaken. Like, all the money that like Floyd shows, like, oh, made like 300 million. Listen, that's the overall money of the fight. That's not the money that he actually got from there. If you know what I mean. Like, it's like you go to a concert, that concert made 10 millions, but the singers only get like 1.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'll say that I think that Al still has most of his money. If there's any of it left, I really don't know. But I've always known.
You had to
No,
say it.
I'm not. Hey, yo, dog, like motherfuckers. Look at what happened to Rocky after the Drago fight. Y'all remember what happened to Rocky after the Drago fight?
Oh, that's fucked up.
But remember, Jay? Remember what happened?
Hey, but that's Rock. Hey, that's Rocky's fault for doing that fight for free, though.
No, wait. In all fairness, it was Paulie's fault. Paulie made his ass broke.
Paulie gave
that was true.
Paulie fucked up.
Paulie gave him power of attorney, but Paulie wasn't the one that stole the money.
Nope. True.
Nope.
True.
Sure wasn't.
And you know what Floyd Mayweather's worst nightmare is, fellas? Y'all want to know this? His worst nightmare is waking up and just he calls Al and there's no answer. Then he says, "Hey, has anybody seen Al? Where is he?" No.
Give it 5 years. That's gonna happen.
Bro,
give it 5 years. That will happen.
Al got all them dudes and
Al's gonna disappear. He
got them all in that record label 360 deal, y'all.
Let me read the super chat. See, I don't remember Ward saying anything about fighting Floyd.
Yo.
Damn, bro, we didn't need that.
What the hell, bro?
I think that's Mariana. Mariana got gas.
Who's that?
Somebody that's burping a lot, pretending to be a girl.
Is that anime again?
I don't know. There's some weird motherfuckers out here, B. There's some weird motherfuckers out here, B. Like I said, like it's ¿Quién sabe, man? ¿Quién sabe quién fue esa niña? This is what happened on Big Hove. Floyd, for whatever reason, he decided to shade Andre Ward, talking about how he nice, but he don't sell. Ward took offense, right? We talked about this earlier, and Ward said he's willing to come down to 160 for Floyd. Matter of fact, didn't Hopkins say something like that? Am I crazy? I could have swore I heard Hopkins say some shit like that.
Someone said that in the messages as well. Someone mentioned that in the messages too. I did see that in there as well. So you might be right on that one.
Yeah, Thugnificent says Bobby Brown co-signed that it was him and Tyson in Tokyo with a gang of Japanese women getting wasted. Yeah, man, like bro, how the fuck?
Yeah.
Listen, man, if you got a bunch of what's that? I want to know what the fuck this broad's name is on Instagram, man. This girl look good as shit. I don't know her fucking name though. I'm like, bro, if you got a bunch of I'm gonna bust a nut. I'm gonna bust 5 nuts, B. I do not care. It's time, yo. All in Japan. All them sake on the best.
Imagine you like in Japan, right? And you have $100, and they tell you like, yo, there's the like 3 por peso, man. Like,
bro, 3 for 1, bro, 3 for 1 on the box. On the come on.
Parece mano de plátano, man.
Mira,
Jules, you touched on something earlier, like that. I just want to comment about. Like you said that you know how people pick Caleb Plant to win, right, to beat Canelo.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, see, when it comes to stuff like that, it's just common sense because, like, let's just say, like, a close friend or relative, my little brother, right? He's a pro boxer. He's fighting Canelo. Of course, I cheer him on, but guess who I'm putting my money on?
I dig it. No, I dig it. I'm just saying that it reaches a point. See, this is my thing, right? And I need to say this. Nobody say nothing. Let me say this, right? If you don't like Canelo, I don't care. If you think that everything Canelo did is bullshit, I don't care. The only reason I have to address this stuff is because they come to me. I don't care what these guys think about boxing. Like, bro, go to Twitter and go to my feed and you'll see, motherfucker. Like, bro, I don't care what you think about boxing, bro. If you had a YouTube channel, I wouldn't fucking know because I don't give a shit what you be talking about. Most of these guys that come to me with this shit is because they know how I feel about some shit. So they attack me. And I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck what you think about boxing. I didn't ask you. If you take issue with something, it's because you watch me or you come to me, not because I come to you. I don't give a fuck what you think, right? So when it comes to Canelo, right? If somebody's not impressed with his career, I don't care. If you think that he didn't fight nobody good, I don't care. I only care what I think. And you're mad that what I'm saying makes sense and nobody cares what you think.
Well,
That's what it really is.
And the funny thing is,
what's crazy is
the public that
nobody's
pays for boxing, all of us pay for boxing.
Mm-hmm.
The general consensus on Canelo is he's already got a Hall of Fame career from the buying people, from the people that pay for boxing.
Mm-hmm. Now, go ahead, country.
What's crazy is nobody has even really got a comparable resume to him, and they still criticize the man. I mean, he's doing what nobody's doing what he's doing at all. And he's beating more like, champions, active champions and elite type fighters than pretty much everybody out there, but people are still dogging him. It's like, damn.
Country, I'm going to say this. I think the reason that we appreciate his career and they don't is because we're actual customers. You see what I mean? That because we pay for this shit and we come out of pocket to see these fights, you have to meet a certain status quo for us to, do that or want to do that. And you're meeting that criteria for the most part. You are doing what we ask you to do. We want to see unification matches, right? We want to see champions versus champions. Right. We want to see a fighter that has an active boxing career, that you're not just boxing once a year and then you take the rest of the year off. He ticks off on all the boxes of things that we complain about when it comes to other fighters that will know Canelo's active. He fucking fought like 4 or 5 times in the last 12 months. He is fighting champions. Ain't nobody fighting champions more often than him. So to the paying public, they gonna be cool with that. But a motherfucker that don't pay for shit, well, of course you gonna be mad. You shouldn't even be mad. It ain't costing you no money.
Right.
You should even be even happier with that in that situation. He's basically just he's being laser focused on it, and he's just doing things the right way. Well, as consumers, we all want.
Exactly.
Keep going forward, keep moving forward. As I say, as a shark, if the shark doesn't move forward, it drowns. Exactly. So he's doing that, and that's exactly what we want in a fighter. And a lot of fighters ain't doing that now, and that's the problem. What's winding up everyone who pays for this stuff, and then you still want fans. If you don't get out there, you don't get fans. End of.
Put it this way, right? You got a guy, Jermall Charlo, right? And they fucking love this guy. And I'm like, look, as a consumer of boxing that spends money every month, every year on boxing, I don't like him. Why? You could have fought Andre last year, bro. Instead of if you was only going to fight once the whole year, why was it Montiel? Why couldn't it been Andre at least? Yeah, I'm like, if Charlo, like, I don't think Gennady wants to fight him, but I also don't think Jermall is really after him because you're not going to cross the street for that fight. And you're not going to tell me you the A side to Gennady Golovkin. No, the fuck you ain't.
They could have made that fight. He was available.
Bro. Yeah. I'm just saying that, keep it real, country. Think about it this way. Do you think that Jermall, like, let's say Gennady was like, yo, Jermall, let's do the dance, bro. You think that Jermall would have crossed the street?
Nope.
There it is.
I think what we getting from Canelo, Usyk, Chocolatito, the guy, it's special stuff. That's what we want. I'll be at Chocolatito's fight next week.
Listen,
but these clowns that don't pay for boxing,
we
don't
got
even have Chocolatito on their pound for pound when he was at his height.
Listen, we got a special fighter. This is my example of how full of shit some of these guys are. That they try to make this like some kind of tribal issue. Listen, nobody promotes Terrence Crawford more than me. So kill that shit. Nobody promotes Terrence Crawford more than me, right? And y'all don't give my guy his props. Y'all don't. He a 3-division champion, 2-time lineal, former undisputed, right? 2-time ring. Some motherfuckers don't hold the Ring Magazine title once. Keith Thurman never did. Keith Thurman never had the Ring Magazine title. Errol Spence don't got no Ring Magazine title. Probably never gonna have it,
and
right?
Fools up there talking about who is he fought. Oh, come on.
Exactly. So when I see that, I'm like, look, the real issue here is, right, that y'all not watching boxing for boxing. Y'all not. I watch boxing for the boxing, bro. I want to see good boxers fight. I don't care where they from. If they from here, if they from Kazakhstan, if they from Jupiter, I don't give a shit. If they're good fighters and they meet my needs as a consumer of boxing, yeah, I'm gonna promote them. Now Crawford is all of those things, but y'all don't support him because y'all claim y'all wanted him to fight a PBC welterweight. Y'all claim, oh, he'll never fight Sean Porter. Y'all claim that Sean Porter too strong, right? And when they put it on pay-per-view, did you buy it? No. Who bought it? Me. You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear shit y'all think about boxing.
Yeah, no, I was there that night. Every Terrence Crawford fight has a buzz because he's gonna go to knock the motherfucker out.
My thing is that there's an issue with there's an issue, and I understand that there's an issue that, okay, well, sometimes motherfuckers feel like certain fighters not getting support, but you the one that's not supporting them, bro. Not me. I buy his fights. You know what I mean? I buy his fights.
Remember that going back and forth, Jules, with that dude? Like, look, here's my motherfucking receipts, bro.
Real shit. Go ahead, country.
One of the guys in the comments said, did you hear that Bob said he's still willing to make a Taylor Bud fight?
Yes, I have, and I'm going to do a video about it. That's why I'm not going to talk about it here because that's likely going to be the next episode of the relay.
And country, you know why he said that?
Why?
Because Daniel Kinahan is going to want that fight.
And he'll get it. And he'll get it. And he'll get it.
Yo, look, let me say this because it's a lot of people out there acting like it's something wrong with a mob boss being in boxing. Are you new to boxing? Because this is like listen. Ask Drew. I love Daniel Kinahan. Shit, if he want me to fly out to Dubai and do some shit, call me, Daniel.
Well, you guys know that Jules is the MTK ambassador in the States.
Real shit, yo. I'm the MTK shop steward, B. I'm the union rep for MTK. Bro.
Yes, and the thing is, through the history of combat sports all the way to the gladiators, mobsters, gangsters have been running the sport.
Yo, this is the funny shit, right? Canelo beat Plant, right? Remember who was Andre Ward back in the head of the Plant fight?
He gave him tricks, remember?
And what he said,
and what he said.
No, wait a minute.
And
what he said. Ahora, after después of the Plant fight, what did he say in front of Bernardo Osuna? Like, yo, you picked Plant to win, bro. You was backing him, bro, and all of that. So that when Canelo beat him, he ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought, but he beat your boy.
I picked Plant to beat Benavides, but never to beat Canelo.
Nah, bro. I don't even. Plant de verdad ese tipo fracaso. Ese tipo un fracaso, man.
Hey, yo, Jules with the paddle. I'm sure y'all probably saw this on Twitter, but how about those purse payouts from Spence Ugas?
I haven't seen that. What was the purses? What were the purses?
Listen. This is the purses. These are the purses. Most of Errol Spence Jr.'s purses. Now pay attention because this is the important part, and I think this is the part that goes over everybody's head. Right? I have always maintained that Terrence Crawford gets more money up front than every PBC fighter that's out there because he can't get less than $3 million up front. Sometimes he got 4. Sometimes he got 6 for the Porter fight. He got 4 for the Amir Khan fight. He got $3 million to fight Mean Machine. Bro, Mean Machine don't get $3 million to fight Mean Machine, right? And I know that, these PBC guys, when you look at what's reported to the commission, and I understand that there's more money than what's reported to the commission, but their base pay is far less than his base pay. His base pay is no less than 3 or 4, no less. Their base pay, when Sean Porter fought Errol Spence Jr., the base purse for the both of them was $2 million apiece. Motherfucker, Terrence Crawford got more than that to fight Mean Machine. He got 3 for that fight. He got 6 for Sean Porter. So to me, it's obvious that y'all getting ganked. Y'all getting ganked. That shit that Broner was
4 for Indongo when he was 140, man. Like,
bruh, and Dongo don't get 4 for fighting.
Yeah, Indongo, yo, and you got $4 million.
The funniest part in that purse release is they're both getting 50-50 of the pay-per-view. But
there was a discrepancy. It's like in the article and the thing, it said like Ugas is guaranteed, like he's guaranteed $5 million, but then in somewhere else it said he's guaranteed like 2.5 or something like that.
Well, I don't see. This is the thing. Before I check Sportech, I look for what's being reported to the local commission, because that's the base purse. That's the base purse. That doesn't mean that that's all you're gonna get. But if your base purse, this is my thing. If your base purse is 1.5 or 2, and his base purse is 3 to 6, it's clear that you're getting more money than you, because his base is bigger than yours. Now, whatever else you get is going to be from your sponsors and the upside. But what the fuck is the upside of a pay-per-view that only does 277,000? That's what the Sean Porter pay-per-view did. What's the upside of a pay-per-view that reportedly did 250,000? Come on, B. You not fooling nobody. Them shits is not selling. That's all I'm saying. This shit's not selling.
Yo, that's another thing though. Like, these guys from the PBC, like, they're always running like they got this, they got that, but at the end of the day, they're not getting that much money though.
They're not, and that's what Broner said. That's not. Eso no son. Yo tengo que decir esto. That's not things that I'm making up. Adrian Broner said that the Queen's Flip. He said they got these guys turning down more money to be on pay-per-view, but they not getting a lot of money on pay-per-view because ain't nobody buying them shits. That's what he told Queen's Flip. Like, Broner been let the cat out of the bag. Motherfuckers just don't want to listen.
We already knew that.
It only sounds beautiful, like pay-per-view, but if you crack the estimated number that they need, you're not gonna get the upside, bro.
Eso es lo que es. So, por ejemplo, the pay-per-view, let's say the pay-per-view is 250,000, right? But the break even, let's just call the break even. You got to sell 200,000 pay-per-views to break even to cover all the operational costs of the show. Let's just call it 200,000, and you only sold 225,000 or 250,000. Bro, that upside is because there's other people to pay besides the fighters. You do realize that, right? The network puts on a pay-per-view so that they can make money too, and they take 30 to 40% of whatever comes in. So you already got to subtract that 30 to 40% of whatever comes in. It ain't that much money there, bro. But these guys don't know that.
All him has been running.
Now, Jules, do you think Jules, honestly, Spence is at a long layoff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that pay-per-view does?
I don't
based on what's going on.
Listen, I said this. Debe ser. Para mí, I'll be honest with you, Drew. If you only did 250, right? That's the reported number. So let's just use the reported number, even though we all know they exaggerate. But the number I heard was 170, the real number. But fuck it. 250 is out there. Let's use 250. Danny Garcia is more well-known than Yordenis Ugas. Not saying that Danny's a star. Not saying that Danny sell a lot of tickets. But he is more well-known than Ugas because he beat Amir Khan, because he beat Lucas Matisse, because he some girls like him. Some girls like him, right? Kid got clothes and shit like that. He's from Philadelphia, whatever, right? Está bien. Funny suits. Toda la cosa buena, okay? Está bien. But if you only did 250 with Danny and more people know Danny than Ugas, what are you going to do with Ugas, bro?
I got a prediction.
Go ahead.
It probably won't crack more than 200K.
Yo, the number that popped in my head just now was 150. The number that
I got it doesn't do any more than that.
Because I'm like, it's simple, right? Manny Pacquiao's worst recorded numbers were with Ugas. They said that. They're like, yo, his shit that's the lowest numbers we seen from Manny, right? So only people that bought that fight was Pacquiao fans. That's why I bought it, Pacquiao, right? So I'm like, Ugas don't got customers that buy fights. So it's up to Errol's fans to buy this thing. They got to be the ones that show up and show out. And these is the guys that could not get the Danny Garcia pay-per-view to crack 300,000. So what the fuck is it going to do with Ugas, bro? 150?
It's going to tank because every pay-per-view Spencer's had, the numbers have tanked. They've dwindled with each one.
Ever since, look, I said it and motherfuckers don't like to hear it, but Mikey Garcia is the reason that shit did 360, bro. It is.
Claro, man.
More of Mikey's fans bought that than Spencer's.
I'm being real. Like,
yo, Mikey has a whole country behind him, man.
Bro, he dared to be great.
Not anymore.
Doing these
not
days,
anymore.
though,
We go
man.
for San
Mikey said he's not retiring.
España.
Mikey said he's not retiring, bro. So my thing is, okay, look. Mikey has a couple of avenues of opportunity, country. One of them is being cannon fodder should Gervonta Davis return to 140, because we all know that Mikey can't make 135. But at a time when Mikey's not trying to fight George Kambosos, we all know that he's not trying to fight fucking Vasyl Lomachenko. He's not trying to fight none of them guys.
Yeah, he ran from that fight, man.
Exactly. So let's say he beats Rolly Rolando, and let's say that he beat Isaac Cruz, or they don't even do an Isaac Cruz rematch. One viable option for Gervonta Davis is Mikey Garcia at 140 pounds.
Will Mikey do it?
Que yo no tiene los cuartos, man.
Ese Leo, that do they have the money to pay Mikey? Because Mikey could stay right there on Matchroom in the zone, and he could get an easy million.
That's another thing.
I don't think he'll get.
Say it again.
So I was going to say, I don't think Mikey's going to get that bigger check like he did on the last two fights from Matchroom. No way. They gave away a lot of money to him, and they've taken a loss on him.
Look, this is the problem with Mikey right now, or at least this is what I think is the problem. Mikey is coming off a loss. Mikey's not going to get out there for chump change, but he is coming off a loss. So they got to get him back in the winner's bracket. If you're Matchroom in the zone and you want to make a big fight that involves Mikey Garcia, right? You got to get him back in the winner's bracket. All right, that's the first thing.
True.
The problem is, how much money do you want to get back out there? Because we're not going to overpay you. We're not going to do that. Are you willing to take a hit to do a big fight with, say, right, Montana Love? Because we could set that up.
Connor Ben.
No.
That would work. That could work.
But it could work.
It could work.
If you get him back in the winner's bracket, though, that's the problem.
I'm with you.
Jules is right.
It'll go through hell, but it will work.
Jules is right. You get
that's a
Mikey
fight,
2
though.
wins. That's a big fight with Connor Ben.
I much rather would have preferred
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Mikey Garcia
that was
versus
a good one, yo. Connor Ben.
Damn, that's doable. They can do that.
At what, 147 or 140?
Hey, listen.
For the right price.
Country, he went up there for Errol Spence. Prime Errol Spence with the big nipples. Hey,
don't let Yellow Beezy hear you talking like that, bro.
Yo, matter of fact, you're right. I don't want no problems.
Pero otra cosa,
you went
otra
there,
cosa.
Jules.
Yo, another thing though, like I also like how you say.
I think Mikey would have been better off at 140, man.
No, listen. No. All right. First, let me say this, then I'm gonna pass it to Jose. If you want my honest opinion, he should have never went up to 140, period. Like, you went up to 140 to fight Sergey just to come back down for Robert Easter. For that shit, you should have just stayed there, fight Easter, then fight Vasyl Lomachenko.
Yeah.
That was the fight.
That was the fight.
When he
man.
was
Yeah,
when
I
he
was
couldn't
actually
make
going
the
there,
weight,
though.
right?
Say it again, country.
He couldn't make the weight, right?
Well, it's because of what he did. What he did, right? He goes up to 40. He fights Sergey Lipinets for the IBF. Then he vacates it. He moves down after that. He fights Robert Easter. So, like, okay, you move down, cool. So you can still make it. And he won. He won decisively. Like anybody that saw that fight, it was never a contest. Mikey dominated him, right? Cool. But instead of going into the Loma fight right after that, because Loma had the other belt, the other belts you needed or whatever, right?
Point lost. Point lost. Point lost.
Bro, that shit always happens at the right time. Bang. Instead of going after Loma, bro, you went all the way up there for Spence. You can't come back down to 35 now. You fucked it all up.
Right.
He can't make 35 now, bro. It's over for that.
Right.
Should have fought Loma.
Another thing, though, just to add to the point of, the PBC and the money with Mikey Garcia and Tank, I don't see them guys paying money for Mikey against Tank just because, like, I don't see him losing money first and, like, Tank getting destroyed because at the end of the day, like, bro, Mikey can crack.
Well, déjame decirte esto, Jose. This is the thing, right? The reason you can take a gamble on a Mikey Garcia versus Gervonta Davis fight is because of the Chicano fans. This is why I view it as viable. You can say that, oh, they don't have the money. They would have to risk. But for that fight, you can risk, let's say, like, I think that fight commercially, I shit you not, that fight does 350 to 360, maybe 4.
No, it's going to make a lot of money, though.
Yes.
But
Yes.
if those guys are not willing to make fight that makes sense in his division or his divisions, because he fights like in 2 right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to do it for Mikey Garcia, man. Like, I can see a Progress fight easier, to be honest. Even though Progress can destroy him.
Look, Victor Postol is about to fight Gary Antoine Russell, right? So let me just paint a picture for you, right? And Victor Postol, you know what's about to happen, country. You know what's about to happen.
Like a Christmas tree.
Now, y'all know that the PBC has no quality control. They'll put any old motherfucking shit out there. They'll put any old shit. So let's say, okay, we're going to do Mikey Garcia versus Victor Postol after this, right? We're going to do this in the summer, right? All right. We're going to get Mikey a W. But they got to get him a W.
You need a W. We're going to get it.
We're going to make sure. We're going to make sure you get it.
We're going to get you into the ring with Layla Ali or something.
But
you need a win. You need a W.
Mikey, they can't pull that A-side shit with Mikey.
No, of course not. But if you tell Mikey, look, being real, right? Mikey's return to the PBC is worth more to the PBC than it is to Mikey because Mikey can go anywhere. He can go if he wanted to work with Top Rank, he could. If he wanted to. Not that he wants to.
PBC ahora mismo, man, están desesperados por dinero, yo, because right now they're moving all like the pieces. Like Charlo, they want to like moving up. Everybody wants to move up right now.
Mira cuánta gente ellos tienen que están acabados, all right? Jared Hurd, he's finished, bro. He's finished. Whether he comes back as a middleweight or not, he's finished.
Tú tienes una buena memoria, yo.
Who beat him last? Arias, right?
Bro, you got beat by Luis Arias.
Bro,
yeah,
I'm watching that fight. And that was such a winnable fight, too, for Jared. I was surprised, man.
Jared is massive. He was huge for junior middleweight. He was huge for middleweight. If you can't get past that guy, you're not going to make it with a Yanni Beck. You're not going to make it with a Munguia.
I mean, Jules, they said in the build-up to that, they said Jared ballooned up to like over 200 pounds during the pandemic. You know what I mean?
Bro, how the fuck was he making 154?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like 200 pounds.
Bro, he's huge. So just look at the stable. Look at the stable of guys that they have had. Lara's about to get back out there, right? But Lara's like 100 fucking years old,
Yeah,
bro.
Lara's old now, man. He ain't.
Dude is old,
But
bro.
you want to hear something
He's still a
crazy?
boy. That's the funny thing, though.
I checked the box rec rankings, right? We all know box rec the ranks, but they got Lara ranked as the number 2 middleweight right now. Box rec.
I mean, but that's
Yeah,
but
but he's being a boy
okay,
though. Like
okay. But I'm gonna see it. Let's say this, Jay. Ain't middleweight trash though.
It is, yes. That's true.
Gennady wanna sit out for a year. Murata want to sit out for 2 years. Charlo don't want to fight Andre.
Charlo cayendo
It's
preso.
shit.
Have they given a new date for that Triple G fight?
Not yet. But I'm gonna tell you what. Gennady Golovkin started his training camp. If you go to his social media, you'll see that he's in training camp. So I think the announcement is coming. It's coming soon.
Okay.
Because they already showing him doing all his gym shit. So
that's a long training camp. That's a long ass training camp.
That's another thing though. Like Triple G.
I wish Canelo would have rematched Lara, man. That would have been.
Triple G gets a lot of respect though, because he's like always in the gym, always boxing. Like he don't talk about anything else, man.
What if that's the PBC surprise? What if that's the PBC surprise? Canelo versus Lara 2 in a volcano. It's lava shooting everywhere. Man, it's like the gods.
I mean, like one or how many times Lara fought him middleweight? Just once or twice?
No, he fought there. And I think it was once. Against Cornflake. The knockout looked weird. When he touched him, it looked weird. But when that dude head bounced off the shit, it was like, yo, that looked real.
Nah, get him in the neck.
No, that left hand pierced to the guard, man. Like that shit.
Bruh, it's just I wasn't sure.
It was surgical, man.
I wasn't sure when he connected, but when his head bounced off the shit, I was like, nah, motherfucker can't fake that. You can't fake that, bro. So I don't.
You saw that little clip right there? That's one of the reasons he's being a boy, though. Like, I'm not saying he's unbeatable, but in order to beat him, man, you need like to crouch in and like knock him out pretty much, like Hurt did, because you don't have any other chance, man.
Él le gana, and I'm gonna say this. This is a hot take. I have always maintained.
Castaño.
No, espera. Castaño le gana hoy, because he has the right style for Lara. You have to go after Lara. And you got to get mid-range to inside on like he doesn't like
that. A draw, though.
Exactly. Pero te lo voy a decir ahora, los Charlos, ellos no pueden con Lara. No, they can't, bro.
They just weigh bullings, man. They just weigh bullings. That's all they are.
They style because this is the thing about Jamal and Jamel. They pick the punch, which isn't bad under normal circumstances to pick your punches, pick where you want to put them. A guy like Lara, he don't give you nothing to throw at. He not gonna give you nothing, bro. And because they not volume guys like Castaño, that Castaño gonna throw, bro. Whatever he gonna throw. That's why he's dangerous for Lara. But these guys, they looking for the punch to throw. They looking. Lara not gonna let you do that, bro. He not gonna give you nothing to throw at.
The Charlos gonna pick their punches for the first like 5 rounds, and then they're gonna turn into like street fights, like
bro. Not
bullets, man.
No, not even street fights because. El contragolpe de Lara, it's like, look, I'm not a Lara fan, by the way, but the man can box. That's just the facts.
No,
right?
I mean, a street fight, like, they start losing, like, their fundamentals throughout the fight. Like, they're not keeping, like, their hands up, like, the foot position. If you see, like, a stand-up fight, that's one of the things I got mad at Charlo. Like, I fuck with small Charlo, 154 Charlo. Yeah. I don't know who's Jamal and Jamel. Like, I get confused. But... small Charlo, I like him more because he gets into the fight. But if you remember that fight, Derrick James was borderline slapping him like, "Yo, go to the body." Well, and he just turned into a street fight. Like
but he wasn't wrong in the sense that look, he wasn't throwing enough. The Charlo brothers, they're boxer punchers. That means that they're gonna pick their punches, right? They can apply a little bit of pressure, but they ain't pressure fighters. Like they're not gonna do what Castaño does. They're not gonna do what Sean Porter does, or even a David Lemieux. Those are all pressure fighters that no matter what, they're gonna come forward, they're gonna throw. Pure boxer like Lara, they don't like that. They want to be able to set their feet and take their time and pick the shot. They don't want to get into a gunfight. So 2 guys like the Charlo brothers against a pure boxer like Lara, Okay, he's not gonna give you nothing, bro. He's not gonna do no stupid shit. He's not gonna make no mistakes.
I'm gonna give you an example with myself though, because I honestly, like, I'm not like the shit, but I'm a kind of a pure boxer, and there are guys that I struggle with, and they fight exactly that style. And even when I see pros, there are guys I'm not saying like I'm gonna be scared of them, but I know I don't want to fare well against those guys like Sean Porter. Like, I wouldn't know how to deal with that guy because he's like a slugger, but he's a scientist at it. Like, he knows how to like angle it and stuff like that. His punches are trash, but he's gonna knock me the fuck out.
I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Right, hold up. I'm about to show you right now.
I'm on your vibe. I know exactly what you're saying.
No, I'm just gonna. This is educational IQ for the people that don't understand what I'm talking about. La educación.
Si tú te fijas con Charlo, like I like him as a boxer for the first 5 rounds, but the thing is, he started like getting open. Remember that Harrison fight? He was losing the fight though.
Bro, Harrison is what? A pure boxer.
Yeah, exactamente. Entonces, cada vez que le quería brincar on his like dragon stuff, he stopped right there. Boom.
Contragolpe.
Yeah.
This is the planograph. I'm about to show it to y'all. Everybody can see it, right? This is the planograph. In the planograph.
Yo, that's funny. There was one at the gym where I was raised, like exactly like this one.
This is the planograph. Basically, what this means is that if the pressure fighter, the pure boxer, and the boxer puncher are on the same level, this is what happens. The pressure fighter can beat the pure boxer. The pure boxer can beat the boxer puncher. The boxer puncher can beat the pressure fighter. And those is the 3 principal base styles in boxing. There are little things in between, little things, little nuances. Some are skills, some are physical gifts like power or speed or stamina. But in boxing, there are really only 3 base styles. There are really only 3. And the pure boxer struggles with the pressure fighter because the pressure fighter don't give him time to box. Don't give him time to set his feet or pick his punches.
Yeah, and I like that graphic because the only thing that a lot of things that determine the nuance and levels is how the fight's being refereed.
Yes. No. I'm gonna say this also. Some of the nuances is like Canelo Alvarez is a boxer puncher, but what is a nuance about Canelo? Most people forgot Canelo has an affinity for counterpunching, catching and shooting. That's a nuance. He's not any old boxer puncher. He's a boxer puncher that has an affinity for counterpunching, that he's going to come forward in a high guard. He's going to let you land something on the arms and he's going to shoot. He's going to counter. That's his nuance. Miguel Cotto, one of his nuances, it wasn't necessarily a skill, but it was like a gift. That dude could take a phenomenal beating. He has a great chin, bro. Like Margarito had to fuck him up before he took that knee, bro. He had to really fuck him up.
I thought you were going to say Cotto had a skill of fighting for vacant titles and washed up.
Ay, jalaba, muchacho, ¿qué? Dale su flores.
Uh-oh, Jules. I just got a terrible realization about this graphic about an upcoming fight, of how it's going to go.
Say it.
Oh, boy.
Say it.
All right, based on this, it looks like I got an inkling of how the Bumgarner Michaela Mayer fight's going to go.
Oh, you haven't seen all right now. Let me once again let me champ the shit, Jay. I got you right now. See,
okay.
The really good boxers like Floyd Mayweather, like Canelo Alvarez, they have 2 base styles, right?
Mm-hmm.
The really good ones. Right now, what we've been seeing from Canelo, he lives between a boxer puncher and a pressure fighter.
Yeah.
That's where he lives. He's between those. He could toggle back and forth. Floyd, when he started out, Floyd was a boxer puncher. He used to beat the fuck out of guys.
Yes, he did.
The older he got, he started being more of a pure boxer. Like, man, my hands is fucked up. I'm going to pick my punches. I'm going to make sure they're accurate.
That, and after that Cotto fight, man, he took a lot of punishment.
He took a lot of fucking punishment in that fight, right? The really good fighters can, and look, y'all know I'm not a big fan of Tyson Fury. Y'all know that. But he has 2 base styles. When he started out, he was a pure boxer. For the Wilder fights, he turned into a pressure fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Come forward, crowd him. Don't give him time to set his feet. Un abusador. Eso fue abuso. They assault and battery, right?
It got to a point, though, that I thought he would have taken like his belt out and just like whooping, like, una pela.
Un correazo con una chancleta también. Like, yo tírale la chancla.
And I gotta say, Margarito was coming back in that second fight before they stopped it.
Oh God! You gotta let that shit go, bro. You gotta let that shit
No,
go,
mira
bro.
una cosa, yo. Like
It's
people
my
talk.
disdain for Puerto Rican fighters.
You gotta let it
Mira,
go, dog.
mira una cosa, yo. Margarito, man, he was a boogeyman for like 5 years, man. Like that guy is not slouch. Fue un tramposo, okay, but like credit where credit is due, man. That guy was a storm. Even Mayweather didn't want to fight him, man. Like a lot of guys didn't want to fight that guy, man.
Bueno, yo te voy a decir la
Correct me if
verdad.
I'm wrong. Did Margarito and Williams fight? They fought, right?
Yeah, they did fight.
Yeah,
They did fight.
Williams beat him. Yeah.
Yeah. They did fight.
Margarito Tapacia lo dio muchísimo golpe, man. Like even his eye, he lost an eye in that fight. I think.
Man, if Paul Williams wouldn't have got hurt, that Canelo fight would have been great.
Listen. All I'm gonna say is this, right? Wait. This is what I want to say about Margarito, right? I have always appreciated a good come forward pressure fighter because every division that has a good come forward pressure fighter is exciting. The divisions that don't have them end up like middleweight. Middleweight has no pressure fighters. Gennady Golovkin, a lot of people thought he was a pressure fighter. No, he wasn't. He was a boxer puncher. Look at how much he uses his jab. Like he's a boxer puncher, bro. He's not a pressure guy. Now, David Lemieux, that was a pressure fighter. He's gonna come forward. He's gonna lean with his face. He's gonna lead with his face, right? He wants to get mid-range to inside and land hooks. That's a pressure fighter, right? Good pressure fighters are always fun. You're Alfredo Angulo, you're David Lemieux, you're Sean Porter. They're fun guys to watch. They make fights fun. And I don't think they get appreciated enough. Like everybody's always, I don't know why for some reason people feel that you're supposed to like pure boxers. Pure boxers sometimes are fun, but not always. Who's like Lara? Lara could box, man, no doubt about it. But some of his fucking fights was really boring. The Terrell Gausha fight, that was really fucking boring.
Oh, it was. And that's why a boxer puncher versus a pressure fighter are the best. Go back to that first Sergio versus Paul Williams fight. A fucking great fight.
Great fight.
Great fight.
Boxer puncher versus pressure fighter was Gennady Golovkin versus David Lemieux. He beat the fucking shit out of David Lemieux.
Triple G no cogió esa presión, ¿no?
He knew what to do with it.
Fights like that's one of the fights where I actually felt bad for somebody like just Lemieux. It's like he just didn't have a chance at all.
Now, Jay, I'm gonna keep. That was one fight where I realized that I have issues because every time I saw his hair move, I laughed. Because I knew a punch. Because I knew a punch landed. Like, oh shit!
I can't believe that's who they're getting for fucking Benavidez to fight, yo.
And you know they're gonna act like it's a big win. Yeah. Oh, he beat David Lemieux. He beat David Lemieux.
David might have to retire after this, y'all.
Bro, you know he don't even
wasn't shit when Triple G fought him, but he's somebody now that he's fighting David.
Watch. It's the same shit as the Euro fighters. Andre Ward's biggest wins in his entire career were Euro guys. But when Canelo fight European fighters is no good. They no good.
Yeah, but Canelo did that because he wanted, expand his portfolio and like catch another fan base. You know what I mean? That's why he's so big nowadays.
No, pero también tú no más puedes pelear con you can only fight who's there, and that's who was there.
Sí, pero que aquí
he was unified. Who had the belts had the belts.
Real shit. Like he look. The other shit is they get mad. Oh, he fought. He fought this. He fought that. Listen, when he fought Gennady Golovkin, who was the number one middleweight in the world? Who was the number one middleweight in the world?
Gennady Golovkin.
And he fought him, didn't he? So it's like, what the fuck are y'all mad at?
He fought the number 3, Danny Jacobs.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like Canelo was the number 2 going into the first fight. Canelo was the number 2 middleweight in the world. Gennady Golovkin was the number 1 middleweight in the world. Daniel Jacobs was arguably number 3 because there were people that felt that Daniel Jacobs won a Golovkin fight. All right, he fought 1 and 3, and he was number 2 for a little while. It's like, bro, the shit y'all saying don't make sense. That's like saying, you know what it's like saying? It's like saying, oh, Floyd ain't shit because he didn't fight Kell Brook. What? What?
Mention at least one of those guys that been calling Canelo out that have done that.
Exactly.
Ninguno. Cero.
Ninguno. That would literally be like saying, oh, Manny Pacquiao welterweight run sucked because he didn't fight Kell Brook. Are you serious?
Oh.
Like, are you crazy? silly ass shit, man. Y'all need to like look. I like Brooke. I like
Mira una
Brooke.
cosa, like there are certain fighters like Mayweather that you get into a status like belts don't matter, right? But they still actually put some belts into those Mayweather fights, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So in these guys, what's like what's the perceived value though? Like that's my question. Like, okay, I'm gonna fight you, but what am I gonna gain from it?
Nothing, bro. Nothing. All the commercial value being brought to the table is being brought to the table by Canelo. And that's because, and Drew often says this, which is very true. There's no bona fide B-side. Golovkin was a bona fide B-side that, yeah, like, yo, this dude has marquee value of his own, bro. He has fans. So if you do a fight with him, it's going to be a big fight. You got an A and you got a B. Right now, Charlo is a C and a D side. Benavidez is a D side, bro. You D side.
That's un C side, un culo side, yo.
Culo
That's
side.
at the
Culo
bottom.
side. It's a culo side, bro. Trasero side.
He's a vete a la verga side.
De la verga side, bro. De la verga. It's one of my favorite fucking shits the Mexican cats say, la verga. Like, de la verga. I can't even say how they say it. I love how that shit sounds.
De la verga.
Eso es a la verga.
Real shit.
Mira una cosa, yo. Just to add like to one point, I know like doesn't have to do a lot with the conversation, but you can see the disparity of mentality on like fighters. You remember the aftermath of like Plan and Canelo fight when they were in the ring and Canelo was like, like being a gentleman, hey man, just forget about everything, this is just a fight. And Plan came with his hood broken heart, like, oh, I never had a mom, this and that. And Canelo was like, okay, man, okay, yeah, I had a mom.
It's the same thing with
What's that got to do with being in the ring when you got your ass whooped?
Like my skills, bro, am I doing all right?
What's that got to do with being in the ring getting your ass whooped? I don't get that.
Look at Josh Taylor. He was being a gentleman to Catterall. Taylor was being a gentleman to Catterall till Taylor started running his mouth, and Jules tweeted it out. Then Taylor's eyes switched up, like, "Oh, that's what you want to do now?"
Listen, let me tell you something. The look that Josh Taylor got on his eyes, right? Go back and watch that. Gloves is off, right? Look at Josh Taylor's eyes. When I get around a gyro, I get that same look, bro. If I'm around a halal cart and it's gyro meat on it, I get that same look. Like I'm gonna kill this shit.
You
bro.
can tell he's a Daniel Kinahan fighter from those eyes right there.
You could tell, B. Josh got bodies, B. He got bodies in Scotland, B. He killing motherfuckers out there, B. He's a real dude, B.
Just picture Regis Prograde, Terrence Crawford, and Josh Taylor on like drug runs, just going out, just running out.
On the speedway. Over there, yo.
Hey, Jules. Regis, get the car. But Regis, get the car. I'm gonna handle this shit.
Why do you think, in your opinion, why is Fury radio silent now after hearing Egas and Usyk's rebuttals?
I would say it's not because of that, because he decided to go into radio silence before those interviews were released, so it's not that. I don't want to look. I'm gonna say this, right? For what it's worth, put aside all of Fury's shenanigans and antics. He is a good boxer. I cannot take that away from him that he's a good boxer, right? But I do believe the reason he's going into radio silence is because, look, you can say all of that shit for the people that don't know what happens behind the curtain. You have dealt with this guy before. There's stories about y'all. You know what I mean? He dropped you, bro. That's facts. And I'm not saying it because I like Dillian White. It's not, fuck that. The fight is the fight. And I'm saying I don't see no way where this is easy. Maybe you beat him because you've dealt with this base style before. You have in Derek Chisora. Obviously, Derek Chisora is not a carbon copy of Dillian White, but you're not in unfamiliar territory dealing with a mid-range to inside pressure fighter whose money punch is a left hook. You know what I mean? Like, Derek's money punch is more the looping right than the left hook. That's his money punch. He'll dip off to the side and shoot the looping right over the top. Dillian's money punch is the left hook. And I think that's actually more dangerous to Fury than the looping right.
Also, another point that's dangerous for Fury is like, he stole it, right? But that's not always an advantage, because when I used to fight with, most of the time, because I'm a small dude, I'm only 5'7", like 134 in a good day. But like, it's not an advantage being bigger, because if you don't have like a good jab, or like if you don't know how to keep the distance, point one, you're always gonna end it up against the ropes, and
Yep.
point two, your body's wide open. Like it's no way you cover that big ass body for Tyson Fury. I don't care how much shoulder roll you do, like that shit's gonna hurt. And Dylan What is a body snatcher.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
Like,
a reason.
Yeah.
There's a
That's
reason
why Dylan
Fury
needs to
wanted a
work. Dylan
fucking
needs to work
tuna.
his body. Dylan needs to work his body. That's what
Like
he needs to do.
this
Like
is
you said, Jules. There's a reason he wanted a
That
tuna.
left hook to the liver, dude.
this is the thing. Now, I want you to go back, watch the Tom Schwartz fight, watch the Otto Valine fight, right? Watch those fights. Those guys put you on the ropes, bro. They did. They put you on the ropes. You had
That's-
your back on the ropes. What is Dillian gonna do to you if he gets you on the ropes?
Hey, Jules, wait, you guys.
More you like a bear.
What's the punch that cut Fury in the Wallin fight?
It was the ropes. Now, bear in mind that Otto Valine is a southpaw, leads with his right, so you have to be mindful of that. But it looked a lot like the ropes or whatever on the glove. That's what cut him. But I like that Otto did this because I like the slimy shit. He thumbed him. He thumbed the cut, bro. I like that old school shit. Yeah, man, fuck him up, man. Make it dirty. The ref ain't looking. Fuck it.
Damn, I gotta rewatch. I thought it was the left hook to cut him.
No, and that's a lost art. I love guys that fucking fight dirty when there's an opening.
Fuck
I love it.
Fuck it. Like put
You're there
your
to win.
elbow in his neck.
You bite him.
I mean,
Bite his
you
ass.
protect yourself
it.
at all times, isn't it? Like,
Why you think that's the rule? Protect yourself at all times, even when the ref ain't looking.
And that's why I say I can't compare these guys to them old school 15-round guys because these guys would be fucking shocked that a ref say, "Oh, I didn't see him fucking elbow you. Keep fucking fighting."
Exactly. Like I look at White versus Fury, and I'm like, look, you can pick Fury to win because I just want to see the fight. Like that's my whole thing. I want to see the fight. But as far as the fight, the reason I think it's going to be a good fight, if it happens, is it doesn't look like it's going to be easy, bro. It really doesn't. If you come forward, you give Dillian what he wants. If you move back and move away and try to move lateral and jab, he's still going to be busier than you. He is.
Another
See,
thing,
my thing is, can Fury still fight like that the way he used to?
I don't think so. I don't think he can. I think he might have lost his stepper by fighting that way.
That's exactly why.
Yo, bro, you're not the only person I heard say that too. You're not the only one. I spoke to Sporting Icons. He said that shit. He said, I don't think Fury can be the Fury that he was with Klitschko. And that shit, like, yo, you know what? Maybe he's right. That he can't be that guy no more.
Klitschko was like 50-something years old.
Esa es la otra vaina. Ese tipo tenía 37 años.
And Fury, if I'm not mistaken, he was like 26, 27, something like that.
Bro, that man didn't look a day over 35.
And I'm on record.
Usyk's
gonna beat Fury.
I'm gonna tell you what, bro. I try to enjoy the boxing because if you think about what is happening in the heavyweight division, we got some really good fights on the way. I heard Parker versus Joyce is close to being done. I heard that shit. That's good shit. I like that shit. If you think about Usyk versus AJ, yeah, I like the fight. I want to see it again. Maybe he stops him this time, or maybe AJ stops him. Who knows? It's a great fight. And Fury versus White, I want to believe that the fight is going to happen, but I'm very skeptical. Because stylistically, this does not look like it's going to be easy. And bear in mind that this is not your normal run-of-the-mill situation. Dillian don't like you, bro.
Nope.
I hope that fight goes ahead because I'm going to that fight.
Anybody who thinks
definitely going to that fight.
Anybody who thinks it's going to be an easy night's work for Tyson Fury, they've got another thing coming. He's not going to steamroll Dillian in like four to 5 rounds. You know what I mean?
Motherfuckers act like Tyson Fury is a clean one hitter, and he's not. Look. He beat up Wilder, but it was systematic. He jab him and land the jab, dive into a clinch, wrestle with him, get out. Jab again, step into the jab, dive into a clinch, wrestle him, tire him out. That was how he beat Wilder.
También, like, one point against Wilder, like, no disrespect, but I'm more impressed Wilder as a basketball player if you ever seen him, like, play pickup basketball than, like, as a boxer. I'm going to tell you why. Because this guy has, like, no fundamentals whatsoever. Like, man, as a boxer, like, dude, I remember seeing him in, like, I think it was his 4th fight, I think it was. I was like, wow, if this guy has to learn how to, like, do this and do that, like, you know, he can become like a Thomas Herons of, like, the heavyweight division. Because, bro, that dude's mad athletic, man. He's like a LeBron James.
Look, no, cheque el Washington fighter, right? You know, a jab. When you think about a jab, it's not just throwing it; it's getting the hand back in time to protect that side of your face. There's a reason.
Punch, yeah.
That there's a reason that, and I said this for years. There's a reason that Gerald Washington was landing his jab and Wilder wasn't. There's a reason. They was trying to tell me, yeah, Wilder got a good. No, he don't. He don't got a good jab. What the fuck are you talking about?
You saw the fucking high disparity into that fight, man. It was like the Big Show against Rey Mysterio, man. Like, come
on, like, bro.
I mean, the same thing in the Spilka fight. He was being embarrassed.
That's what I was about to say, Jay. Like, he was tripping over his own feet in that
Spilka
fight.
Was embarrassing that man before he got the knockout.
But to finish my point, like, that's exactly what I was going after. Like, his foot placing is atrocious. Like, his defense, he only puts his gloves up, so all the parts of his body are open. So, like, Fury was just like, okay, I picked this punch here, this punch there, but Dylan White, he fights mostly out of the peekaboo position.
Yes, he does.
So the only way to catch that position is out of an uppercut, like Povetkin did. But I don't think, I don't even think Fury throws that many uppercuts.
No, it has his arms are so long. Sí.
No, ahí voy, tranquilito.
Ajá.
O sea, como él está tan de cerca, él no puede tirar tan duro, because the disadvantage of having long arms is that you have to release those long arms.
Yes.
And the only way he's going to be able to catch him is, Dylan White likes to throw those looping punches, so he has to counter him. So if he becomes like a counter puncher overnight, he can catch him, or like he keep it on good distance through the fight and like running around. But I don't see him like picking him like in the middle of the ring on the ropes. Like, I don't see that shit.
For Povetkin to throw a counter uppercut is nothing, because Povetkin has short arms. He can sneak that in there real tight. Like, Povetkin has the most, at least when he was active, he had the most compact hooks and uppercuts in the whole heavyweight. They're so short. It's so short and tight. You can't get
reverse shuffle is crazy. Like, the reverse shuffle, like when you go, like you do, like, you know how to do the shuffle, right? So when you do a reverse, like Pernell Whitaker used to do it. So when you do it, your back foot lands like it's your front foot. So you got power out of that. So you kind of uppercuts or you power hooks from your power hand becomes crazy, man.
Bro,
like, just like astonishing.
Now that's Povetkin. Like, everybody's acting like that's a punch that everybody in the division can land, that uppercut, because that was a counter uppercut. Dillian tried for a shot. I forgot what shot he tried for, but he got countered with a very short.
It was a hook, though.
No, it was a hook. It was a hook. It was a hook. He disguised it as a. It was a hook. What he turned into an uppercut halfway through.
Though, if I'm not mistaken,
it was a hook. What he turned into an uppercut halfway through.
Fury, let me tell you something. Tyson Fury's uppercut, like, bro, his arms are too long for him to be able to sneak one in there like that. It won't happen, bro.
From the uppercut, you have to,
short. He won't be. I got to feel he won't be throwing much uppercuts against Dillian. He won't be.
And the uppercut, in order to be like effective, you borderline have to kneel. So I don't see him doing that.
The only thing that could happen to Dillian that I see, one image that just flashed in my mind, is Dillian White will work him. Dillian White will land punches, and Tyson Fury will resort to moving laterally and flicking the jab and clinching when he closes the gap. And Tyson Fury might actually be down on the cards. This is what I see, like, no cap. This is what I see. He might be down on the cards due to activity. But if Dillian White blows his load, Tyson Fury only has to land clean once, late.
Yeah, that's why Dylan's got to pace himself. He needs to pace himself.
Because that's how he
can
get taken out.
Do you see this fight going the distance? And if it does, do you see even Dillian winning on the cards? I don't.
No, bro. Come on, bro.
Unless he gets some knockdown.
No.
Bro. Like I would love, like, bro, I swear to fucking God, if Dillian wins this fucking fight, I swear to God. Oh my fucking God.
That's gonna set the heavyweight division on fire. Me too. I want Fury to knock. I want Dylan to knock his chin off.
Bro,
that's what I'm hoping.
If Dillian,
I'm not saying that
if he's the one to finally beat Tyson Fury of everybody in the division, like, that's just gonna be wild.
Bro.
It's gonna be wild.
He's got a chance. He's got a good chance.
Like,
I'm rooting for him.
Like,
it'll be amusing one over here.
One at a time. One at a time. Go ahead, Jose.
Like, I'm not saying Dylan White is gonna win, but just the style matchup is is not that good for Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury got knockdowns before, man. Not flash knockdowns, like legit knockdowns. Like
He's
been
been
like
knocked
on the
down
ground.
4 times in his career by Nevin Pajcik, by Steve Cunningham, 2 times by Wilder in the first fight, 2 more times by Wilder in the fourth.
No, but
So 6
Wilder,
times.
you can
6
see it
times.
coming, but the other guys, man, come on. Like,
Yeah, like they acting like the man can't beat. I'm like, bro, he been knocked down 6 times, bro. 6 times.
That
As
swivel
far as I-
and like
as far
the
as
way
I'm
he
concerned,
moves
White-
also gets you out of balance as well. Like, so if somebody catches you while you like moving your head like that, like you're going down, my dude.
Bro, I just really I want the fight to happen. Let me read the super chat.
Heavyweights hitting you, man.
You rake him with the laces. I still don't believe the fight happens. Best video on the web, kid. Yeah, bro. I'm with you, Dennis. To me, it's a fight that is too good to be true. That I have to see it to believe it. Because I'm like, bro, man. Look, motherfuckers could say what they want to the media. The fanboys could say what they want. I have followed both their careers for years, bro. That does not look like an easy fight for Tyson. It just don't, bro. It's all wrong for him. Wilder is a guy that needs to get full extension on the punch. That's his Achilles heel. He could generate great power if he can get his whole arm out. What Fury did to him, cool, ingenious. You crowded him to where he don't got space to get it out. Genius. White don't need that space, bro. He's an inside fighter. That's why they call him the body, because he's an inside fighter. So you're going to have to either you're going to come forward and this is going to be a barroom brawl, which I don't think you want. You were just in a war with Wilder where you got knocked down 2 times. I don't think you want to get into another war by coming forward. So you're going to box. But if you box, he's going to chase you. He's going to hit you to the body. I don't see it being easy. That's all I'm saying.
And Dillian White does what he doesn't do like really well, which is cut up the ring. Like, bro, it's a big ass problem.
And Tyson Fury is a big target. He's kind of hard to miss.
I mean, plus depending on what weight Tyson comes in at, if he comes in heavy, that's not smart. You know what I mean? You know, it's like, I mean, if he comes in heavy, he's not going to be able to move the way he used to. That's for sure. If he comes in too heavy,
no le va a salir con Dillian White because Wilder is always out of balance. That's what
always.
I'm saying. But Dillian White, bro, like he's nah.
Like yo sé que Dillian White tiene su defecto. I know he's not perfect, but styles make fights, bro.
Yes,
they make fights, man. I'm trying to tell you something, gentlemen. It was a great live, a lot of fun. I'm going to sleep.
Ya tú sabes.
Peace out, man. Peace out.
Take care, everybody.